Live on WFLA Now. This is Run for Fun with running enthusiast Leigh Spann.
All right, let's go. Welcome back to the Stream Center here at WFLA Now for this week's episode of Run for Fun. This show is designed to do more than just give you tips to run better or faster. We focus on helping you learn to love and enjoy the sport, because if you love it, you're going to keep at it. Now, I'm your host, Leigh Spann. I'm a meteorologist at WFLA in Tampa, but I'm also an avid runner. And I love and get excited about telling people that running can, in fact, be fun. And it gets a really bad rap for being some sort of punishment exercise for other sports, something either that you're sort of forced to do or that you have to do. But there are so many ways to love it. And the person who taught me most of those is my coach, Coach Maria. Welcome back, Coach.
Hey, how are you this week? You had a week off last week.
I had a really nice long vacation, a full week off from work Monday. And it felt like, between all the things that I did, it really felt like I was gone for like 2 or 3 weeks. So when I came back, I was like, how do you do this job again?
Yeah, and this is like new stuff for you too, like new area, new things to see. They say that's how you slow down your life.
Well, it went very, very slowly, and which is wonderful. There were so many things. I got to see the Eagles play, and Steve Miller Band open for them, and so
that's awesome.
So I got a lot of fun things, but we have a lot of fun things going on here too. We're going to focus this morning on our Strava group, because Maria, guess what? We have 132 members in our Run for Fun Strava group. So if you don't know what Strava is, it's a free app. You can download on your phone. You carry it with you on your walk or your run, and it keeps up with how fast you went, where you went, things like that. But we use it like a sort of like a social media platform, so that you can ask questions. Somebody was just asking kind of what goos you eat. So if you don't know, long distance runners, we eat along the way. And so people were giving her suggestions. And Maria, you're going to use it to help people.
I am. We are going to train together for Best Damn Race.
Yes.
Which is January 20th. So I'm going to put together like a little workout plan, and we're going to put it online, and then you can join us at Best Damn Race, and my tent will be there, and we can have a really fun time. So
yes.
That's going to start the first week in November.
And so tell everybody how you can train a bunch of people who you don't even know. Like because you run by effort.
Yes, we run by effort. So if I don't know you as a runner and you're not a custom client, then I do most things by effort. You'll do some fartlek runs and some, easy pace runs, and I can give you some guidelines so that you can run your best race.
Yeah, and believe me, it is a game changer when you have someone kind of helping you through things like
and
this.
It's fun. It keeps it fun and interesting, and you're not just out there doing the grind every single day, right?
So join us on the Strava app. Once you download the app and get your profile up, then you can go to the groups, you can go to the clubs, and you can find WFLA Run for Fun. So add to our 132 members.
And tell your friends, too.
And tell your friends. And today we are actually focusing on running tours, because when you go on, some of us actually go on run-cations, but anytime someone goes on vacation, they can tour the city in a way on foot that they might not normally do.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm excited to talk to Laura about this, because I myself go away a lot of times, and I didn't even think to look at running tours. I usually look up run groups.
Yeah.
So, and I always love to run on vacation in a new place. So Laura, you're going to have to tell me all the inside info.
We're bringing in Laura Bradley. She's a running tour guide here in the Tampa area with Go Running Tours. And tell us about Go Running Tours, but also just how in the world you became a part of it.
Sure. So my name's Laura Bradley. I live here locally in the city. So, of course, for a long time, I've been running, all these areas, not just the bay shores, not just the river walks, but, I guess as Leigh was asking, how did I really get started in this? Like a lot of people, I got burnt out on my job. I've told that story many times. I quit. I did all the things. I do work back in consulting now because I have bills and things like that. Running tours don't pay your bills. But I was burnt out, and I was trying to remember what I'm really passionate about. And I was like, I love running, obviously, and I love exploring on foot. And when I would go to different cities, probably for the past 12 or 14 years, the first thing I do is drop my bag, and I go and I see where's that restaurant or mural or place, that I wanted to go see, and how far away is it from where I'm staying, and all those different little things. And then I started watching Tampa blow up, and I'm like, gosh, there's bike tours, there's boat tours. Like, would people want to run and see stuff? And then I started Googling, and I found out that it was a bigger thing in Europe. This was about a little over 6 years ago now. It was in the fall. And yeah, I pitched Tampa. I was like, you got to hear about this city. Like, you know, people were going to want to see this place, and they got really excited about it. And long story short, here I am over 6 years later with the only job I've ever stuck with this long. And then by
That's awesome.
more than twice as long.
So, as a running tour guide, you do a lot of research, not only on the track that you're going to run, but on the sites as well.
Oh yeah, I zoned out. It was actually my birthday weekend. I was there thinking like, this is what I'm doing on my birthday. I was laying there in some Tampa Mafia Facebook group, reading like individuals talking about their family and their history. So yeah, my research, like a lot of people started out, you know, with basic Google search and Wikipedias and stuff, and then you know, next to my bed, I've got like 20, 30 books about Tampa and St. Pete in different areas.
Cool. That's so cool.
And because there's just a million different ways to learn. I've gone on other tours with people and heard their stories and gotten to know other guides in the area. Just talking to people at a restaurant sometimes, looking at different buildings and getting curious about them and going, what was that? Staring at the ground a lot. You find interesting things on their little bricks and stuff like that that are written. And yeah, you just have to be curious. And I really am happy I found something that I still enjoy this much. And I hated running and I hated history when I was a kid. And now it's like my whole life.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Right? The two things I despised.
We talked about that. Yeah,
Yes.
this was not, running was not going to be something that was going to be when we were 10 and 12 years old
No.
that we would ever be a part of. And here we
No.
are loving it.
Yeah.
Now, my first question on this would be, I have a lot of runners that are very self-conscious. Like,
Yeah.
how do you ease somebody's mind if they call, like, how does the whole thing work? I don't even know how it works.
Sure.
Do they call you and ask you what pace you run, or do you ask them how it works, or how do they be more comfortable?
Sure. So, so part one of that, I guess, would be to explain that there's two types of tours. There's group tours, and the majority being private tours, which means you book, or you and your husband or boyfriend book, or you and your group of girlfriends book, or something. So anywhere from 1 to, 10 people, for example, probably more like 1 to 5, right? Like a small group. And those tours are 100% your pace. So when you go on the website, there is actually a little they have like some kind of quirky thing like frickin' fast or super slow or something. But like you put kind of that, and that first off, that's a starting point for us to kind of get a gauge for what you're doing. And also just that conversation, like you'll have my info. So I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to ask like, do you want to stop? Do you want to stop at, different places? Do you not want to stop? Some people are here for maybe they're trying to keep their training up while they're vacationing. So they might say, Laura, I actually don't want to stop anywhere, but just take me by the places and let's talk. And like, I want to run for 6 miles straight. Now that's rarely what happens. Most of the time people do want to stop. But yeah, it's an easy conversation. People explain to me how they run. I do get people. I just had somebody reach out and say like, I'm hardly running. Like, am I going to be able to do your haunted tour? And I'm like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I mean it because I struggle too sometimes.
Yeah.
We're all, how running is. Like you can be able to run 100 miles and you can have trouble with a 1 mile run.
Yeah,
like,
for
so
sure.
we all get
Yeah.
it. And the other good thing is I have a built-in really friendly customer base. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
had somebody actually break their foot in one of our locations,
Oh,
not mine,
gosh.
and they still left a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because people are so happy to be doing it. But
Oh, yeah.
But in short to your question, yeah, like there's nothing to worry about. I've had several people like get back into running because they've come out with me and they
that's
haven't ran
awesome.
in like a year, and they'll
love
send me a
that.
message, like a text message, like a year later, like, Laura, this is me and my 10K. Look what I did. And it's
Yeah.
so it's really like I get like all, you can see it on my face, like I get all.
Oh, this is
Kinda-
making
it's
me
fun.
excited. I'm going to do it
Yeah.
next time I'm on vacation.
It's a whole world, a whole community.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, as runners, you know that how it is. It's
Yeah.
just another extension of it.
And so, and Go running tours is all over the world.
That's it. I just got back from Italy and I didn't end up meeting up with anybody. I rolled my ankle.
Yeah.
Like
Like we do.
like we do. But yeah, I've done that in Barcelona and Florence and different locations. You have a free tour guide wherever you go and a free friend. Somebody to
that's
show you
awesome.
a local to tell you things and tips and go, this is where you want to run. And it's just, yeah, it's a special thing to have all over the entire world.
So can people, tell you how long of a distance they want? I mean, how customizable is it when they talk to you? And then also, I know you just mentioned the haunted tour. So you also have specific tours that you do. Yeah.
Yeah. So our tours range anywhere. We technically have walking tours as an option, but that's a very small part of it. And so from a running distance, 5K would be the shortest, and all the way up to 21K. So your half marathon distance, which surprisingly a lot of people want to get that 15K half marathon. Like we've obviously done research on the what people choose the most, and most of the time they want something further.
That's crazy.
So I'm hoping to see more of that this fall. But yeah, I've done tours, like I said, they're private. So, if somebody's here from like somewhere in Europe and they're never going to be here again. They're like, Laura, I know it's a 7K tour, but I really want to see XYZ. I'm going to go take them.
So here's a crazy question. If somebody from, say, up north comes and they're like, hey, I want to do a 13-mile run at noon, and they have no idea, are you like, hey, this is not a good idea in Tampa Bay?
I've warned them. I did during that nightmare heat wave we had in August.
Yeah.
I did a half marathon tour, and it took us all of 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
To do it, we stopped at 2 or 3 Publixes and like went inside, got water, cooled off.
Oh,
you know,
good.
so it was every little trick that I had, you know, to keep them cool. But yeah, I've done that before where I get like somebody I'm from up north originally, and somebody from like Maryland books a tour at like 10 or 11.
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
don't know.
you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
or whatever. And the person I told you, I had somebody book a half marathon while I was gone that I was not able to do or whatever. But I remember he sent me a message, and because I gave him a place to run, and he goes, oh man, it's going to be 80. He was like, I'm a little bit nervous about my run now. I said, 80? I said, that's a nice day.
It sure is here.
So yeah, I do. I 100%, when I see that booking, I'm like, I warn people.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
are you sure you know what's
That
coming?
would be me. I'd be like, are you carbo loaded?
Yeah.
Did you have enough hydration?
Yeah. And we do that. We like on those longer ones, we stop
Yeah.
at 7-Elevens
Oh,
and
that's
different
good to
places.
know. That's
and-
good to
and
know.
stuff. So,
Yeah, because it is in the end, it is supposed to be fun. It is supposed to be a tour,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
see the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the places that you take people?
Oh gosh. I mean, I joke a lot that I try to keep people off of Bayshore and the Riverwalk, even though they are, you know, part of like my longer tours and all that. But I take people through Ybor City. I take people through the Heights. I take people. Perry Harvey Park is one of my favorite places in the city. Has been for years. That's where we have all our African American history with Central Avenue, similar to the Deuces neighborhood over in St. Pete. So a lot of those neighborhoods closed down with urban renewal when the highway came in. So a lot of that history was lost. But Perry Harvey Park is a great example in our city that I've noticed in the past couple of years, more people starting to get over that way and see it. And it walks you through all that history. It's a really beautiful park. It's got the oversized statues of them doing the twist, because the twist originated here in Tampa.
Oh,
right
wow,
there
I
on
didn't know
Central
that.
Avenue. Yep. That started there. Ray Charles got his start over there.
Oh, wow.
At 813, of course, of all numbers, right? Short Emery Street. And so, yeah, that's one of my favorites just because of that. I love taking people around St. Pete by all those murals over there, too, and all the stadiums and all that history, and really everywhere. I just like to run.
Now, do you make suggestions to people if they say, hey, I want to run this? Will you say, hey, we can do this in St. Pete, or we can do this in Tampa? Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I just had somebody's going to run with me, I think on the same day. I'm doing a shakeout tour for St. Pete Run Fest, and I've got somebody else coming to run with me in the morning, and they actually said that. They said, I kind of just want to see more like green spaces and pretty views than so much sights is what we care about.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, we'll do our island hopper tour, and that's where I take them around Davis Island, Harbor Island,
cool.
and it's good for sunrise or sunset. And I still tell them history. I still tell them about like Davy Davis and, you know, the mystery of his death and all those fun things.
So neat.
But it's
Fell
more
overboard.
I think we're going to have to do
Yeah.
one just
I
for
know.
fun.
He
Lee.
fell over. Yeah.
So, this is one of the questions I've asked you early on when we first met, years ago. I go, how do you run and talk at the same time? Because it's
still
one thing
tell
to
people
run.
yes.
It's yet another to give a tour while running.
I think you just like this answer because I remember it from like 6 years ago or whatever it was. And I told Leigh that when I did it, I was nervous too because I was like, I don't know if I can talk and run. So I went out in the middle of the night and ran my tours and would just stop some. And I still do it to this day. I did a tour in Dunedin about a month or so ago, like a big, like 30 some people, like brews, and I call it like bagpipes and brews or something. We stopped at breweries and I told them tons and tons of history about Dunedin, but I would go over to Dunedin. And I actually had to do that kind of in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I was running out of time. So people would see me just sitting there like muttering to myself.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
But you got to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
took
for
me
sure.
because that was actually a genuine concern. I was like, I don't know if I can talk.
Now, do you talk while you're running, or you stop and then give the
Both.
history? Okay.
Both, yeah. So I kind of play by ear, and it's like running almost every time, like with a friend, pretty much, you know. So
Yeah.
we end up chatting, you know, like we'll get there, usually meet at the convention center almost all the time is where my tours start. Sometimes Curtis Hickson or something a little different, you know, if it's like a themed tour, because I do a lot of stuff like mafia tours and haunted tours and women's history, and you know, anything I can come up with is fun for me because I really
So
enjoy
awesome.
it. But yeah, you got to practice it.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what.
Yeah.
So so the picture that we're showing right now, it was a pretty big group. Now,
Yes.
is that one of the biggest ones that you've had? What was the occasion? Like,
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because my dream would be if every run club did what Run Fit in Lutz does with my friend Amy. She started doing these tours. I used to have a girl named Allie, and she moved out to New Mexico with her husband for work a long time ago. You may have known her. She worked at St. Pete Running Company and all that. And she did my tours over in St. Pete, and they decided to do her brewery tour over there, which is like half pours, but like 9 breweries and like all the history. And like, I did the tours as a guest one time. It was a lot of fun as a guest. Like, you know, you don't have to be the responsible one, but they did that. And that was a catalyst for, they wanted to do more tours. And they've done, I think like 5 in total with me now. They've done the Mafia tour. They've done the Haunted tour. We did one called Murals and Mimosas, and we ended at Steelbach, and we did brunch and stuff like that. Fun. And then this last one was Dunedin, and we're going to do Tarpon next. But Dunedin, I just combined a bunch of different breweries. And,
oh my gosh, how neat.
And we get about 30, like it's usually an issue of turning people down with them.
Oh,
so
really?
if I could just have every running club in Tampa brought out 30-some people, maybe I could quit my job again.
So can you do like birthday parties and stuff like that? Oh,
I did a 40th birthday party for like a girl.
Carla
and,
needs
like,
to do
5
this.
people. And we ended that one at Armature Works too. So like I'll do that kind of thing where we'll end somewhere and, you know, or I'll help you get your reservation or whatever it is. And, you know, they can end there and I'll hang out or not. I don't care.
Oh my gosh,
your
that's
birthday.
great. What a great idea.
Let's go back to if someone goes to a different city.
Yeah.
What would be a benefit of having a tour guide versus just going out and running on your own, which you can do, but what would be the benefit of having a tour guide?
First off, new friend, but two, the true benefit, there are actually a lot of people who land and that's the first thing they do is run with somebody because that helps you get your bearings, especially if you're like going across the ocean and all that and your time's off and everything. I've had people do it for jet lag too. But yeah, you get somebody like, we work really hard because we enjoy it. So you kind of get like a guide for the rest of your week too. Like I'm not trying to say that, put that responsibility on all the other locations, but one, your hotel is wherever it is by the convention center and you're in a city you've never been. And now you've just ran 7 miles around it and you've got a pretty good idea of where that dinner that you're going to later is, you know, where things are, you know, how late things are open, all that. And then you've got somebody who's one telling you history. Like how many times do you go somewhere and you don't know anything about the place when you leave? Like I moved away from Delaware and I realized I don't really know history about where I grew up. I do now because I went back and studied and all that. But like, I realized like you spend all that time and you don't go to these places. So one, you go to a bunch of places you probably never go to. Two, you've got a personal tour guide, so you're not getting the same speech like every time. Like tours, I love normal tours. I just did tours over in Italy and all that, but you really get like a personalized experience. And you've got somebody you might grab coffee after if you want to, you know, and you can be like, hey, you know, somebody said go to this restaurant. Should I really go there? You know, or whatever. And they could be like, you should, but you could definitely go here too. Or while you're there, do that. Or
it's like
did you
insider
know about,
info.
Yes.
I always tell people, and like, there's nobody in the city that pays me to talk about their business or whatever, like for sure. But I tell people about the ones that I love. You know, I do. I'll tell them, you know, and I always tell people at the ferry, like when that's active, I'm like, that's a great deal. Like get yourself dropped off in St. Pete, come right back here. Like I just tell little things that you might not know about, whether I do them or not, or anything, if I think they're a good idea. So you get that resource.
I mean,
you know?
I've done it a bunch with Fat Tire bike tours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I never really thought about doing it running. But my family, we do that. We literally drive to a place, get out of the car, and we run. And it's literally just so we can look around, like you say.
That's what I've always done.
I want to look for the coffee shop that I'm going to use in the morning. I'm going to look for the restaurant I'm going to have tonight. And my kids have actually, that's how they started loving running because it's just, they get to see new things. And then when we go on the run, we're like, oh, this reminds us of when we went to New Orleans. And this reminds me of when we went to Asheville. And it's just a cool way to see the city.
And you do get such more of an up close look at it because
sure.
you do, again, you can look inside that coffee shop and be like, look at that cool, you know, sometimes they have very cool motif and you're like, well, I'll come back there.
The murals,
and
like
then,
beautiful murals.
and-
I'm obsessed with murals.
Yeah.
As you can, people know.
Tampa and St. Pete have gotten really good at their murals.
Really beautiful murals. Yeah.
I know you have a whole tour on that. So.
Oh, lots of mural tours. And I'm friends with like a lot of the artists now too. And they appreciate what I'm doing, you know, telling people about, you know, what they do and, you know, about keeping things local. And it's just, you just get a different perspective, you know,
now,
period.
This is kind of a random question, but when you are researching the mural, how do you find out who the artist is for the murals?
Well, the easiest way is it's usually on there.
Oh, it's on there. Do
Yeah.
yeah.
Usually, yeah.
I've never noticed that, but that's good.
Most of them do, yeah. They should all have like a signature on there, or they'll have their @ or something like that. You
Okay.
can go on there and follow them and kind of find out what's up with them. But like
okay.
some of the main ones, like Eric Hornsby is Artist Esh, and he lives local in Tampa. And then you've got Derek Donnelly, who's St. Paint. So those are my first two go-tos. When people ask, I'm like, they both do art in both places and in other cities and all over. But Pinellas, think about Derek and Eric in Tampa.
Oh, nice.
Derek and Eric, easy to
I'm
remember.
sure they appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And St. Paint. I love
St. Paint, yeah.
It's very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
So what has surprised you the most since starting this about 6 years ago?
Oh man, maybe that I'm still doing it. I have a short attention span, maybe like a lot of runners. I don't know. And I just love it. Like I said, it was like a Saturday night, and I was on a Facebook group just reading something. My grandfather was at the Columbia and whatever, and I'm like so lost in it. And it's nice to have something that you can still get lost in as an adult, because I think we lose that when we're kids. Like we go play and all that. And that's the other thing is I tell people, I think when you start doing all that weird self-analysis or whatever, like as a kid, I had strict parents, couldn't go out and play for very long. So like now I feel like I can go play as long as I want. I put my backpack on and I explore, and there's obviously a lot of good benefits and discipline, obviously you as a coach and all that, and going out and doing your training runs and things like that.
For sure.
But my mind just wants to go, what's down that alley?
Yeah.
So.
Which is how you transition into being an ultra runner versus like a
yeah, you just want to keep going.
Well, and I bet every single tour is a little different. That would make
That's the other thing.
Yeah, because you're not doing the same thing every single time, and you're meeting new personalities. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, it would drive me nuts if I went to the Tampa Theater and said the same thing every time.
Yeah.
It's never, ever the same.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what's the strangest thing that's ever happened to you, like on a running tour?
Oh, man. Strangest? I've never gotten that question.
I love to ask weird questions, so.
I don't know.
Has anyone ever fallen?
Once, yeah. And that guy, he was hungover and he had not been to sleep. And he still came out. So props for coming out.
That would
for your
make me
tour.
nervous about people, because my runners fall all the time, Leigh.
Yes, I've got a couple of stitches.
Knock on wood, no. I've never had any falls except that guy. I still remember it. It was right across from a La Meridian hotel, and it was where those trees have the little things around them.
Yes,
And the one was kind of broken a little bit, and he called his foot on it, but he was like, I'm fine. He might have still been drunk, honestly, at that point. Like,
Well,
I think
the
wasn't feeling
sidewalks
pain.
can be treacherous.
Oh, yeah.
And especially if you're looking around.
Right.
I would imagine you guys probably say that a lot. Hey, pick up your feet or whatever.
But no, not too much strangeness. I did have one of my maybe special for a different word. I had a lady from Ecuador, hadn't ran in a long time since she had kids, and she wanted to get back on the marathon boat, so she signed up for my half marathon tour, and that one took a good 4 or so hours as well. But she had her family. She asked me for spots that her family could be, and they made it like a race.
Oh, that's so cute.
So we were going over
really
the
cute.
Platte Street Bridge, and they were out there cheering, and then we saw
my
them at
gosh.
She's
Ybor.
so happy.
I know.
So
I still
cute.
get kind of because she hadn't done anything like that in so long. It was just
That's awesome. And way to make running fun. That is the way to
That-
do it.
yes.
Like you don't have to be
Yeah.
racing everything all the time. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's that, and I guess because I'm like a laid back, modest person. Like I don't like even though we're doing this, I don't like the limelight, even though people probably think I do because of the way I post stuff. But when I have those moments where I'm like, I did this. I made this experience for these people,
Yeah,
and
that's
and it
amazing.
was special, and they remember it a year later, and you're like, I'm doing what I'm meant to do. As much as it's a weird thing to tell people, this is what my life's work is, but I'm happy.
Oh, I get it.
And it makes
That's
people
amazing.
happy.
I mean, well, and I just think about, when you go to another city, you don't, there could be tough areas, rough areas that you don't want to go to, and you could easily wind up in those.
I do get a lot women or whatever who are like, is it safe to run here? Where can I go? And I'm like, I've been doing this at every hour. My preferred time to run is 3 or 2:30 in the morning. That's what I like.
Oh, wow. Well, because I guess you don't have to worry about traffic and stuff like
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
You got the city to yourself.
Yeah,
So,
that's not my preferred time to run, but I can see why it would be. Other people's
it is.
Especially if you're muttering to yourself outside.
exactly. For me, it works.
And so would is there somebody who would ask to be too fast? Like, hey, I want to go do a 4-minute mile or whatever it is. And you're like, no, I can't help you with that. Would you turn people down?
I wouldn't turn people down, but I have had a couple guys or whatever. It just happens to have been men who have done it. who have taken off very fast on me, and I've been like, hey, I don't run that fast. Like
Right.
this period,
I
I
suppose
don't.
you could ride a
or-
bike next to them, right? Have you ever done that?
I've had people. Have I had somebody take a bike? I think I've had people come out on a bike or a scooter before, like who wanted to join a group but were injured and things like that.
Oh,
But-
okay.
But I personally don't. All I do is spin. Like I used to teach spin and stuff, but I haven't
Yeah.
ridden a bike that goes anywhere
Oh, yeah.
in a long time, except on a tour once. I did do like
Yeah.
a bike and kayak tour years ago, but
Yeah.
no, I stay off the bike and stay on my feet.
Yeah.
You for a while not only hosted tours in Tampa, but also hosted them in other parts of Florida. So you know that's just more research, more history,
Yeah.
more routes that you had to come up with. And
Yeah.
what explain about going to a city that you don't live in.
Oh, well, like I told you before, I manage Tampa and I manage St. Pete and I guide all those tours for right now, like me on my own with a couple people who can maybe back up here and there. I have somebody who works for me in Orlando, so I will give her all credit on those. She designed those. I've only gone over there and tried to wing it a few times when she was out of town. So I don't know if I did those justice, but going into a new city and it's kind of the same. I went down to Key West and I did that for my vacation for fun. I came up with a tour and put like a free Facebook event and was
Oh,
like,
wow,
just
cool.
come out and run if you want to run and learn some history. So,
Oh, that's neat.
but I don't, it's hard to explain how I do it. My mind just works that way. Like I try to get like the base knowledge and I'm like how I pull up the map on my phone and I'm like, how can I put this together and make it work? And I probably get a little bit obsessive over how I can maximize your sites per kilometer or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's not easy. Like going into Dunedin that was a whole learning curve for me. I was like, I don't know anything except for like Dunedin Brewery, and the trail. Like I don't know any of this stuff. And I kind of just have to get into that mindset where I'm ready to just get lost in the history. And then next thing I know, I'm learning about the PGA and orange concentrate and the war. And they have the Roebling alligator over there. And I was telling people about that, which is the vehicle that goes in and out of the water from World War II. So they actually have one on display there right across from the Toronto Blue Jays.
I didn't know that.
And I was talking about Honeymoon
so awesome.
Island and how it really was based on honeymooners and all that stuff. That was the whole history. They would send like 50 couples over there or something like that. And then eventually it became for the war vets, a place for them to go vacation with their
Interesting.
with their significant other or whatever. But it really was, somebody was like, this would be great for honeymooners. Like the idea just came up and they were like, oh, okay. And it turned into a huge ad campaign and people from all over the country would apply to go on their honeymoon there.
Oh, neat.
I
Yeah.
did not know
I know.
that.
you
We
would
need to
take-
go on a running tour with Laura.
Well, and we talk about going to a new city, but
Yeah.
again, there's probably a building that
Yeah.
we run by every day and don't know
Yeah.
that there was something
Yeah, for
amazing
sure.
that happened there. So
Yeah.
even if we're talking to people all, it doesn't have to be a new city. It can be
Yeah.
your
No.
own city that you need to learn about.
Yeah, I've still got like Safety Harbor. I need to play around with learning more there. I've had people ask me about that. I'm going to design one in Tarpon for the Run Fit group. They want to do that next spring. So
Do you have a lot of people local who run the tour, or is it mostly from out of town?
I would actually say I'm curious to see what happens this winter. I'm hoping it's a little busier and stuff as, it's time like a normal, any business, and plus it's cooler out. But for me, I would probably say of all of our locations all over the globe, I by far get more locals.
Interesting.
So how many of these tours do you on average do in a week?
Oh, not many at all.
Okay.
No, it's not a super busy, when it seems busier, maybe there'll be like a couple a week or something like
Okay.
that, like in the winter. So I'm hoping to get more to that. I'd love to be doing them every day.
I
That'd be
could see
nice.
how it would be. You could get
Yeah.
it very busy.
I
But
start to get like that uptick and I think that we're going in that direction. Then it dies a little bit. So I'm just trying to keep pushing this season or whatever.
well, I would totally do that, but I didn't really understand. I mean, I've been watching you for
Yeah.
years do this, and I didn't really understand how it works. So
And it's
it's-
it's still 6 years later, still
Yeah.
explaining to people
Yeah.
what it is and what you really get. Because I struggled with that in the beginning. I'm like, why are people going to pay me money to go run? They can go run. But then
Yeah.
once they do it, they're like, they see what they,
Oh,
they get
absolutely.
and how much they learn and how much effort I put into it.
have you ever felt unsafe, in terms of people that you've had show up on the tour? Or okay, that's good.
No, but I do. I definitely scan,
Yeah.
especially as a woman. Not
Yeah.
that it should matter, but
But
I
it does
do.
matter.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, guy booking a tour at 5 a.m. Who are you on? Looking
Yeah.
on Facebook and stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
And then do you, so people, for go running tours, but also for any running, I mean, do you literally just Google and just go to a website and sign up?
Yeah.
I mean, is that, yeah.
Yeah, if you type in running tours Tampa, obviously, I pop up a bunch. Thanks to you at this point, I pop up. But yeah, you go on the regular Go Running Tours website, and it's got the different countries and the different. It's not by state or anything like that. It's by city, and yeah, you go on there and you pick whatever the heck you want to do, from like a Chicago, donut tour or something. All the different things she does up there, to running with me down here.
So neat! I'm so excited to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to, especially overseas too. I'd like to do more of it over there, because then you really get somebody who can explain what the heck you're looking at. Like, I mean, just coming from over there, it's overwhelming. You're like, oh, that's really pretty, but I don't know what it means. I can't read Italian. Like,
and our friend Carla did do a running tour, and the best part maybe not the best part for her, but the best part for us is there were amazing pictures that came out of it. Because, because there was somebody there who knew the best angle to take the picture. Like, you got to take one here. And so there were some amazing pictures in front of the Coliseum and those kind of things. So on top of everything, you get some awesome Instagrammable photos.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you said that, because I probably like wore out my shoulder in the beginning, like just practicing how to get the right selfie with people behind me and the mural and all that. But you do, like, that's a big, I'm just glad you said it, because it's as weird as it sounds. Like, you're running the same path every day. Turn around. And see it from another view. Oh, the sunlight's better over there. The sunset's better, or whatever. Oh, look at the vantage point of the city. Like on the Riverwalk, when you're coming around the convention center, I always tell people, turn around, and you see that great skyline.
Yeah.
So you get people running in that way. I did that with my cross country kids. We would do a Riverwalk run. I'm like getting pictures of them with the city in the background. So pictures are, it's what it's all about.
Yeah, because as soon as our friend posted that, I was like, well, those are amazing pictures, because usually, again, you either get a selfie. And it's your face and maybe something kind of behind. But these were like well done pictures, so that you could see everything behind them.
And
you can actually get it with your partner too.
Yeah.
You can take pictures of people with their group or whatever. That's kind of neat too.
And I know all the good places to put your phone for timer selfies and all that. But I do that. I coach people. I'm like, just trust me. I'm like, just run at me, smile, keep your head up. And they do it. And they're like, oh my God. Yeah, it's a good picture.
I might struggle with that part of that job.
Because I struggled, but
I had a regular picture.
I had to learn.
We all have strengths, Maria. Taking pictures is not one of yours.
It's not. Taking pictures and parking, I struggle with.
She has a lot of strengths. So we all know what they are and what they're not. So final words for someone who's looking to find a running tour. Why should they do it?
Oh, why should they do it? Because I'm still friends with so many of the people that I've done them with before, because they enjoyed it that much. And so you just get a local's perspective of the city. You get all that local insight. Like I said, you do make a friend in the process. Like I said, I've got tons of friends that I've made throughout this that I go see in other places too. But yeah, it's a special experience to learn, and you get a workout in too, if you even care about that part at that point. But you still feel good. And yeah, like I said, you just learn things in a different way, and it opens up your eyes to doing it in other places too. Especially if you've never done one, then I've turned some people into maniacs who I see them like in Vienna and different places, and they'd never done it before until they ran with me. So that makes me happy too.
That's awesome.
All right, so Maria has it's time for her coach's drill. So she has we said she had some strengths. One of the things, she has a lot of thoughts on things.
Yes, I do.
So we give her 1 minute to give her thoughts on things. So we're going to start the 1 minute coach's drill on bring your shoes on vacation.
So, so many of people out there, they really like to just relax on vacation. And I think that's awesome. I think relaxation is key to a vacation. However, there is so much more you can see when you bring your running shoes. And even if you go for 2 miles, go out and do it. Like, take your shoes with you. It's easy to take running shoes. It's the easiest thing you can take. You can have, a couple of pairs of running clothes. You can even wash them in the sink. It's not a big deal. Hank, you can run on vacation. But I just think you learn so much about a city, and what a great way to do it with running tours. I've never even thought about doing that, but now, we've done it my whole life with my family. So I think we're going to sign up for a running tour. Take your shoes on vacation.
You did it in less than a minute, so she's continuing to beat her goals. But I really do. The next time I go, to a city where I don't know or don't know someone, that's definitely going to be for multiple reasons. I get to see things differently, but I also can stay safe, know where I'm going to look.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you'll go out running and then the sidewalk ends. You know, and, you know, and you're like, okay, now I'll just turn around and go back the other way. The closest I've come to doing it is I had an 18-miler and I was going to be in DC, and Maria set me up with just a runner friend up there that I'd never met before. So for 18 miles, he took me through all of the monuments.
That's
I got
awesome.
to see every single one. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning. So we were the only people out. We had to take all the pictures. It was the best tour of DC I've ever been on. And it was like at 4 in the morning.
Yeah. And
love
a lot of times when I have a training run to do, like that we go and we research groups in the area, and I'll go and sign up for, like, not sign up, you don't sign up for a group run, but like I'll look at the group run and I'll try to go. But the problem with that is sometimes you don't know what the pace they are, and you don't want to be left somewhere where you don't know what you're doing. So if you're afraid of that, a running tour would be a great idea. So you could actually like have somebody with you. You're not going to get lost. You just see it from such a different perspective.
Yeah.
It is so cool when you're on your feet.
And then, then as you guys have talked about it, immediately then you have your bearings.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you have to just turn right up there, and then you feel
Absolutely.
like you know the city for the rest of the time that you're there. So
It's a really cool thing. I love what you're doing, Laura. That's awesome.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
I know that I'm so glad you found your passion. It makes me very happy. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back here next Tuesday as well for Run for Fun. We'll see you.
Bye. Thanks.
Let's go.